Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Master of Science in Education, International Teaching and Global Leadership Virtual Information Session. My name is Sion John. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Also presenting today, I have my colleague from the Office of Admissions, and she will introduce herself.
Yeah, I heard that.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Tanya McMillan. I am an admissions coordinator here at the School of Education. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Also presenting today, we have our Program Director, Dr. Richard Weisenhoff, and Program Administrator, Ms. Betsy Mayotte.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And please know today's webinar is being recorded. We will be able to share the recorded video with you within 1 week. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please type your question in the Q&A box and we will answer your questions. Next, I would like to share the agenda for today's presentation. We will kick off the presentation sharing an overview of the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Then Dr. Weisenhoff and Ms. Mayotte will go over details of the ITGL program. Lastly, we'll cover admissions requirements, financial aid, and leave the floor open for questions at the end. And to start, we are one of 9 schools at Johns Hopkins University. We began offering college courses for teachers in 1909, and then we became our own school in 2007. We are proud to share that the Johns Hopkins School of Education is consistently ranked one of the top schools in education by the U.S. News and World Report. And for school enrollment, we have approximately 1,741 students. And we offer 25 graduate programs, which includes our 2 doctoral programs, master's program and graduate certificate programs. And we have a strong network of over 24,000 SOE alums. And moving on to faculty introductions. First, Dr. Richard Weisenhoff is a faculty lead for the ITGL program. He received his Doctor of Education from the University of Maryland, College Park. His research focus is using technology to deliver personalized learning. And lastly, Dr. Weisenhoff's prior experience includes being the executive director of academics for the Baltimore County Public Schools. And now moving on to Ms. Betsy Mayotte. Ms. Mayotte is the program administrator for the ITGL program. And her prior experience includes being the associate dean here at the School of Education, vice president at Thompson Prometric, director of the School of Education, and director of development at Stevenson College. So at this time, I will hand the floor over to Dr. Weisenhoff for the program presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. So I would like to begin with talking about what our objective is in the ITGL program. ITGL stands for International Teaching and Global Leadership. So we focus on a global program, and the program is really to assist everybody to learn about teaching and research that we do here within Johns Hopkins University. What we're trying to do is prepare all of our students and graduates to be innovative education leaders, and that they're going to work either in schools, school systems, or in other fast-changing learning environments. We do have a large segment of our population that are not planning to go into schools and that are thinking about beginning their own businesses or joining other businesses. So we have entrepreneurships as well as entrepreneurs. The program focuses on 2 types of courses. There are the core courses that everybody takes together within the cohort, and then there are focus area courses that are specific to each individual focus area. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. What we want to do here is bring together both theory and practice. So while you're here, you'll learn about the latest research that's available that all of our faculty are involved with. But then in addition, we provide an extended learning opportunity and other opportunities where you can see those theories put into practice. Next slide. So why would you come here as opposed to other schools of education, either in this country or in other countries? Our program is 33 credits. You complete the program in 1 year. Many master's programs take 18 months, 2 years or longer. You'll be in person here in Baltimore at Johns Hopkins University because all of our classes are face-to-face. And we've structured the program so that you will be able to finish with a fall, a spring, and a summer session. We really do focus on the leadership aspects of this. What our expectation is after you leave here and have some experience within the field of study that you're interested in, that you'll become a leader in that field. And we offer courses in leadership and speak quite often about what the characteristics are of a good leader. We also know that all of our students are international. Predominantly, we have many, many students from the People's Republic of China, but we do have a few students from other countries. And native is not necessarily your, English is not your native language. And we're aware that for many of our students, this is the first time they're in this country. So we provide support for you to make sure that you're very comfortable with being in a foreign country that you may not be familiar with, and provide a lot of different kinds of supports to ease your entry into Johns Hopkins University. As I said before, we are a major research university, and research is key to the work that we're doing here. So you will learn all about the different theories that are current and that have been supported through research. But in addition, we believe that it's important that you not just study the theories, but see those theories in action. And that's the practical aspect that you'll get through your extended learning, whether it be working in a school, working at Hopkins in one of our many schools or in many offices, or going into a business. It really is based upon what your specific interest is. And we try to match what your interest is with some practical experiences out in the field. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that our faculty are considered leaders in the field. And all of our faculty that teach in our program have wonderful experiences that they want to share with you. While we have full faculty that teach our courses, we also use adjunct instructors. Our adjunct instructors are the practical people, those people that are in the schools or in the businesses, and we think they have something to share, and we include them. So you get a balance of full faculty as well as adjunct instructors. So who is the program meant for? Well, first of all, it's meant for students who are interested, for people who are interested in going into primary or secondary educational programs and that are looking to become leaders, whether they want to own their own school, become an administrator in a building, become a superintendent of a school system, and really a focus on global education. Not while many people come to our country to study the US system, we also talk about education systems in other countries to give you a full flavor of what is happening in education around the world. We focus a lot on cognitive learning theory. That is those theories that are most prevalent, that have been proven, that show how students learn. There's a course on mind, brain, and teaching where you focus on the brain. And in every one of the focus areas, you'll get a course where they talk about that focus area and how it is impacted by cognitive learning theory. And then because we are a major research university, we do focus on research methodology, give you an opportunity to study how research is done, the good points and the bad points of research, and how to develop your own research methodology, should that be an area that you want to focus on. Let me give you a very brief overview about the program, and I'm going to say this, and Ms. Mayad, and we're all going to say this multiple times. Our website, there are two. There's a website from the School of Education, the admissions office, and then ITGL has their own website, and we will give you the addresses of both. I would highly recommend that if you are interested in this program, that you take a look and you dive deeply into both websites to learn about the different courses that we have and the faculty and many aspects of the program. The program is 33 credits long, except if you're a TEFL, if you're in the TEFL focus area, there are 2 additional courses that you must take. They're 1-credit classes. All of our classes are in-person classes, and they are done at, as I said, at the Homewood campus right here in Baltimore. The current program, we have 159 students who are here this year in the cohort. The cohort model that we use is very, very important. All of our students then feel like they're part of a community. You will take classes only with the 159 students, although there is availability if you want to take classes outside of the cohort for additional costs. The program is finished within 3 semesters. You come here for the fall semester. Typically, you'll be here around August 23rd, 24th, you'll be here for the fall semester. Then there is a 5-week intersession break where you can travel. And then you come back for a spring semester at the end of January. That finishes at the beginning of May. Then you have a couple of weeks off, and then you come for a final session in the summer. The program usually ends around July 20th, and your degree is conferred at the end of August after it's certified that you've successfully completed the program. There are 6 focus areas. They are not a major, they're not a minor. What they are is an area that gives you an opportunity to take a look at specific interests that you may have. And you can see the 6 areas that are listed here, and I'm going to talk just for give you 1 or 2 sentences about each one. Our early childhood focus, I should say also the focus areas, there are 3 courses that you take within the focus area. The first area that you see up there is early childhood. This is one of the first focus areas that we developed. Students who are interested in studying pre-K, which is age 2 and 3, up through first grade, typically, which is 6 or 7 years old, would be interested in going into the early childhood area. Digital age teaching and learning, which is the area that I lead, for students who are interested in studying the impact that technology has on learning. We look at how technology is being integrated within the classrooms. We take a look at what the emerging issues are that are coming out with this. Clearly, with the pandemic and remote learning, that's one of the big areas that we focus on right now. Creative and innovative education, for those students who are interested in developing programs that may be different from what are currently being offered. Gives you an opportunity to be creative yourself and think about what kind of a program you'd like to have, what kind of a school you'd like to have, what kind of a business you want to go into, and give you some opportunities to really think about innovation. Entrepreneur education, for those students who are maybe not necessarily going into schools themselves, but really focus more on creating a business and what the steps are that you would need to create a business that's focused on education. Our newest area is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that's for those students who are interested in going into a STEM area and taking a look at how you can integrate all of those different aspects of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics into a program within a school system. And teaching English as a foreign language is one of our more popular ones, TEFL. It's for those students who are interested in going home to their countries and teaching English to students who are non-native speakers. Next slide. Thanks. So what are some of the advantages of the program? First off, when you first get here, we have an international student orientation. We know there are things that are unique to international students, and we want to make sure we address all of your concerns. This is done the week before classes begin. We've done it in a full day session. We have speakers from all parts of the university come in and speak to you about different programs, different things that are available to you when you become a student and part of the Johns Hopkins University community. We have cultural exchange and enrichment activities because we know that education doesn't just happen in the classroom. It happens in our bigger community. And we want to give you the opportunity to see what those things are. We have team building exercises for you to work with so that you learn about all the people that are in the cohort, but we don't want to just focus only on the cohort. We want to give you a chance to see what the United States and what Baltimore has to offer. So we have activities that are developed specifically for that. We really also believe very strongly in professional growth. Every student will have an advisor, and the advisor is there to help you as you develop your own personal learning plan and make sure that you're successful here within the university. For students who are having some troubles or some issues with some of the classes, the advisor is your support person and is there to help you wander through the different parts of our program. Formal and informal learning, I've mentioned before, but this is a different way of looking at it. Our formal learning is what happens in the classroom. The informal learning is what happens outside of the classroom. And that's why we have our extended learning program, so that you get an opportunity to see what's happening outside of the university as well. And hopefully both through formal and informal learning, you'll learn the best practices for education. And we also know that you are not native English speakers. And we want to make sure that you're successful both in your writing and in your speaking and in your reading. So we offer, as part of the program, free tutoring services. Should you have a paper that you're writing and you're having difficulties with it, we have people that are available to help you get on track to get the papers done. If you have presentations to make, if you're having trouble understanding some of the text work, we have people that are available to help you with that. So here is how the courses break down. You can see for this year, we have the three semesters listed on the table. In fall 2023, we offered three 3-credit courses, one 2-credit seminar, and the seminar is offered all 3 semesters. And then we have that extended learning, and you see that in the fall and in the spring. So in the fall, we have you enroll in 11 credits. The spring is 4 3-credit courses, 2 1-credit seminar, 1 2-credit seminar, excuse me, and the extended learning again. If you're in TEFL, in addition, in the spring, you'll be taking a 1-credit online class, and that's for a total of 14 credits. We purposely start with 11 credits in the fall because it's your first semester here, so we don't have as heavy a course load for you to take because we want you to feel more comfortable. In the summer, the last semester that you're here, you only take 2 3-credit courses because it's a condensed program. In the summer, it's only an 8-week semester instead of the 15-week that you have in the fall and spring. So we only require you to take 2 3-credit courses and then the 1 2-credit seminar for 8 credits, and that totals 33 credits. Okay, the types of courses you take, we have the core courses. And there are 2 types of core courses. The first type is called a Master of Science in Education core. And that is for any student who's getting a Master of Science in Education would take those classes. Then we have courses that we've identified that we think all ITGL students should take, no matter what your focus area. And those are the ITGL core courses. So in those classes, you could be mixed in with students with any focus area while you're taking the core course. And then we also have the focus area courses. You'll take 1 focus area course each semester for the 3 focus area courses. And in those classes, you'll only be with other students who are in the same focus area that you're in. To get a description of all of the courses, you should go and take a look at the academics at the SOE academic program website. I'm now going to turn it over to Ms. Mayad, who will talk about student testimonials and other information that you need to be aware of.
Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff. This is one of our favorite slides in the presentation because this is an opportunity on the slide you are viewing for us to share with you some of the statements that we have heard from students. These might be current students or former students. And you'll see that there are some fairly long quotes on this slide. You'll have a chance to read those later when we share the presentation with you. But I thought it might be interesting to really think about the themes, the ideas that our students and our alums have about the program. So this first quote is from a student who experienced a really strong sense of community, and she even called it a sense of family while she was in the program. And this is so important to us, those of us who, the faculty and the staff and our colleagues who work on the program. You know, we're recruiting for our 6th cohort to begin in the fall. We started small and we have grown. but we have not lost the sense of community. And when we talk about the structure of the program, you'll hear how we try to make sure that all our students feel very well supported by your faculty, by staff, and by your fellow students, even though we're in a program that, that welcomes many students. The second quote refers to our faculty. And even though our faculty are so well known, many of them are published in their field, they are also extraordinary teachers, and they model teaching that our students and alums find so valuable. And we know how important that is when students are in a program that is all about teaching and leadership. The third quote here refers to the idea of theory and practice. And you heard Dr. Weisenhoff talk about this a few moments ago, that our ITGL cohort program has extraordinary classroom experiences, but we also blend that theory that is taught in the classroom with the experience of being out in the field. And by that, we mean in our extended learning experience, you will be placed in schools or organizations. It might be a business, it might be a whole variety of experiences that students have a chance to really apply the theory they're learning in the classroom. The final bullet here refers to our keen focus on global education. And you heard Dr. Weisenhoff mention that as well. We know that students really want to come to the United States for an experience in this country, but this program is not just about education in the United States, but also around the globe. And in these days, it is so important for all of us to be learning about systems in other countries as a way of our continuing integration. So I hope you will take time to read these quotes when you receive this presentation. But in the meantime, you also can see more comments and quotes and information about our students and alums who have been through the program. You can find that information on our ITGL cohort site that Dr. Weisenhoff mentioned. What we have on our ITGL cohort site is we've placed photographs and information about students who have completed the program, and they want to be available at a time like this to applicants who are looking at the program. So you can find email addresses for our alums, and they really would love to hear from you. If you have questions that you think an alum from the program could answer better than anyone. So we want to encourage you to reach out to them. You will see at the very end of this presentation the website for our ITGL cohort site. And I'll turn it back over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mayotte. So next we're going to move on with application requirements. Applicants must submit a completed application, which can be found on our website. Please keep in mind there is an $80 application fee when you submit your application. You'll also need an updated resume or CV. Next, an essay must be uploaded. Please visit our website on the admissions webpage to learn more about the essay portion of the application. You'll also need 2 letters of recommendation. If you are unable to have 1 academic letter of recommendation, we will accept 2 professional letters of recommendation. Additionally, we require all official transcripts, including institutions you may have taken courses but did not receive a degree. Again, this is from all post-secondary institutions that you have attended. Lastly, the application process begins with a video screening administered by ACEE Global. Applicants who complete the screening phase and meet the admissions criteria will be instructed by ACEE to submit an online application to the MS-ITGL cohort. Also, it's important that applicants select a focus area as well. For fall 2023 admission, applicants are encouraged to complete the application requirements as early as possible before the program reaches capacity. Admissions decisions are delivered via email to candidates on a rolling basis, typically 4 to 6 weeks after an application is submitted with all materials received. The early application deadline for the ITGL Distinguished Fellow Scholarship Consideration is February 15th, 2023. The final application deadline is March 31st, 2023. And the deadline to schedule the ACEE screening interview is March 21st, 2023. For international students, there are a few additional steps you'll need to take in order to complete the application process. You must submit a TOEFL or IELTS score. Also, please note that if you hold qualifying degrees or have earned credits from institutions outside the United States, you must have your academic records evaluated by an accredited independent credential evaluation agency prior to being considered for admission to the ITGL program. Additionally, it is the student's responsibility to provide the necessary documentation and payment to an approved credential evaluation service, and to request that an official copy of the evaluation report be sent to the School of Education admissions office directly from the evaluating agency. The ITGL Distinguished Fellow Scholarship is a new merit-based scholarship which will offer a limited number of merit-based scholarships for fall 2023. Information on external scholarships for international students can be found at edupass.org. And if you're interested in applying for federal financial aid, we strongly encourage you to apply for financial aid by completing the FAFSA form when you start your application. Please note that permanent residents and U.S. citizens are eligible to apply for federal financial aid funding. Please visit our website if you have any questions relating to financial aid. You'll also find contact information for the Office of Financial Aid there, as well as details on the loans and scholarships that are available.
Thank you, Ms. McMillan. The slide you're seeing now includes all of the ITGL tuition and fees that are required in the program. So you'll see that the tuition is for the 3-semester program, and the tuition for the focus areas with 33 credits is $52,920. For those of you interested in the TEFL program, that has additional credits that are a part of the program, and therefore the tuition is a slight bit higher. All students on an F1 visa at Johns Hopkins University are required to purchase the Johns Hopkins University insurance. That insurance will be billed separately to your student account. Half of it would be in the billed in the fall, half of it would be billed in the spring. The amount you see here is an estimate, so it goes up each year. So this estimate is for the next academic year, $4,500. All students in the ITGL cohort pay a technology fee, $1,500, $1,500. You already heard about the application fee. And then if you add all of those fees up, the mandatory expense for the 33 credit program would be $59,000. And again, for the TEFL focus area, it is slightly higher. Now, on the next slide, you will see, the next 2 slides actually, you will see information about some optional services. So if you are interested in purchasing housing at the time you are also paying for your tuition, we make that available to you. And the reason that the ITGL cohort works with our partner ACE to offer housing is that at Johns Hopkins University, there is not a lot of housing available right around the university for graduate students. And so for our international students who are coming over to the country right before the beginning of the semester, many of them find that it's helpful to have an apartment already for them. And so ACE makes that available. So there are descriptions, and there is a lot of information about the housing that's available. And you can find that, excuse me, on our ITGL cohort site. You can see that when you rent an apartment through ACE, it's close to the university. It has amenities that are listed here. All of this is all of the things that you would have to go out and buy for yourself right before the beginning of the semester is provided for you. The apartments are fully furnished, and all of the utilities are included in the cost of the apartment. So apartment services, housing services, are one of the two optional services that ACE provides. We can move on to the next slide. And the next slide describes the career coaching services that are also available for an extra fee. And you can see that the career coaching services include very individualized support and help during the period of the program. And the help and support you would receive in the coaching services would help as you're preparing for optional practical training, if that's part of your goal in pursuing the ITGL cohort. So again, these services through ACE are optional. They are not required, but we make them available to students many of whom are always interested in these benefits. The next slide that we're looking at right now includes steps that are part of our newly admitted student checklist. And this is steps 1 through 4. And on the next slide, which we'll get to in a moment, we'll see steps 5 through 8. So once an applicant receives an offer of admission, and perhaps some of you are already at that step, we ask that you accept the offer and pay your non-refundable tuition deposit within 2 weeks, 14 days. And you can see on these steps, there is a name and an email at the bottom of each one of these steps in case you have a question along the way. We make help available all along the way. We ask once you accept your offer that you go ahead and activate your JET ID, set up your JHU email. That's really important to begin using JHU email if you are an accepted student, if you have accepted the offer of admission. Students will receive notice from the university's Office of International Services once it's possible to begin the I-20 process. So you really need to have the JHU email active, and you need to be reading your JHU email so that you don't miss important information from all the offices around the university that are here to support you. And we can go ahead and move to the next slide that lists, thank you, steps 5 through 8. Once you have accepted your offer, we ask that you let us know if you are interested in the housing or the career services. It is very important that you communicate your decision to us. And once we know your decision, then I will create an acknowledgement form for you to read and sign and return to us. The acknowledgement form is a very important part of this process because it provides all the information you need to know as far as your responsibilities as a Johns Hopkins University ITGL incoming student. And we want to make sure that we have made all of that information very clear to you. And so that's the purpose of the acknowledgement form. Signing the acknowledgement form will continue to help hold your place in the cohort. At this step, we will let you know about the getting started tasks. All of that information is on the ITGL cohort site. And then the final step 8 is that the total tuition is due to be paid by June 15th, 2023. Many times we receive questions about why do we require the full tuition to be paid ahead of time? And the answer to that question is the ITGL cohort is an accelerated program. As Dr. Weisenhoff mentioned, the entire program takes place over the course of 3 semesters, 1 academic year. And it's really crucial that our students are able to go from 1 semester to the next without any interruption if due to issues around tuition. So we require the full tuition to be paid ahead of time so that you can complete the program in 1 year. So we've come to the end of the presentation by Dr. Weisenhoff, myself, and our admissions colleagues. And now we'll work with our admissions colleagues to help answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Mayotte. Looks like we have a question, and feel free, Ms. Mayotte and Dr. Weisenhoff, to kick us off with a Q&A.
My pleasure. So the first question talks about PhD programs. We know that our students, a large number of our students continue in their studies after they leave our program. As many students go into master's or doctoral programs as going to go back home and go right into the workforce, or stay and do OPT, optional practical training. And as advisors, it's our responsibility to help the students in making wise choices as to where they're interested in going. I will tell you that we support all of our students, no matter what they're planning to do once they leave. I've completed most PhD programs require applications that are submitted by the beginning of December. So I speak to this as soon as students come to help them realize that they need to begin the process while they're also beginning their master's program. And then we provide reference letters. We make some suggestions as to the type of program they want to go into. And we are here to support them throughout the entire process. We've had a lot of success with students going into other programs once they leave Hopkins. It makes all of us feel great when one of our students is successful in their next academic endeavor. Are there any other questions? Please post them in the Q&A section. Thank you. Thank you for the nice words. Do anybody have any questions that they'd like to have us answer at this point?
Dr. Weisenhoff, while we wait for additional questions, similar to the PhD program question, we had students who are curious, how do students use this degrees once it is completed?
So, I'd love to say everybody does one thing. Everybody does only these 2 things, but we find some very interesting things happening. A lot of our students come here that have not had a major in education. And usually that's one of the questions that we get right away, is that in their undergraduate studies, they did not focus on education. And somewhere along the way, while they were working on their bachelor's degree, they decided that they really wanted to go into education. So they've chosen our program. The question that we usually get is, do I have to have experience in a classroom before I come to the program? And the answer to that is no. What we do is we take students and study education. This is not a certificated program, which means you don't walk out of our program with a teaching certificate. In the TEFL, you get a certificate of completion, but we are not a certificated program. We study education in its finest form and not necessarily give you instructional methodology. So the reason I say all that is because students come here with different objectives in mind. We have a group of students, the entrepreneur students, and students who study other areas that have decided that when they leave, what they want to do is go into a company that focuses on education, or they want to start their own company. So we have a segment of our population that goes into the business of education. Funny story about that. 3 years ago, we had one student who was interested in entrepreneurship, but we hadn't had the program. So he studied creative and innovative education, thinking that he would create an innovative program of his own. He started his own business and hired 5 of our graduates. We have students who decide they want to continue their studies. I had one student who was interested in developing online programs and continued his studies in a master's program at Carnegie Mellon University. We have students that go into other parts of the educational area, going in, either in PhD programs or going into other master's programs. We had one student who decided they wanted to get an MBA after they got the master's from our program, instead of going for a doctorate, to help bolster their entrepreneurial ideas. And then we have a large segment of our population that's interested in going into the classroom once they leave us. So there is a large number of students that go back to their home countries and then go into the education field. Either, and this is interesting too, they may go into a pre-K program, they may go into an elementary, a middle, or a high school. And then we also have several students that have gone back and gone into universities and started teaching at universities. So it really runs the gamut. We really try to meet the needs of all types of students and give you a real good feel for what the education field is all about.
Dr. Weisenhoff, I wonder if I might just put in
Please.
another plug for the ITGL cohort site, because the kind of information you heard Dr. Weisenhoff talking about, the individual students who have graduated, what they're doing, so many of these students want to be available to you at this point in time when you're trying to make a decision, and they love staying in touch with us, and they would love to be in touch with you. So please check out our ITGL cohort site. You can see the alums by focus area, so you can actually see what many of them are doing.
Great. A question came up about, do we work with CTY, the Center for Talented Youth? So our Creative and Innovative program actually takes courses that are part of our Gifted program. And our Gifted program works with CTY. So the 3 focus area classes that you take within our Creative and Innovative program are courses that were developed by our Gifted program. So there is that connection. We don't work directly with CTY. We do have our CTY program leaders come in and do a presentation in seminars so that you get a feel for what they're all about, and you get an opportunity to meet the leaders of the CTY area. Another question came up during the course time. Is there any visit to other college, school institutions in the United States or outside the United States? So we don't, while they're in class, we don't go to other colleges or schools or institutions. The extended learning is the time when that occurs. And that really is based upon what your specific interest is. We don't leave the country. Quite frankly, with the pandemic and all of the issues that are surrounding that and the limited time that we have, we do finish the program in 3 semesters. So you find yourself on a very fast pace to ensure that you get the program done and that you're successful within 3 semesters. So while you're in classes, the focus is on what happens within the classes. But the extended learning gives you an opportunity to go to other colleges. I find that during the intersession time, our students are traveling all over the place. Some of them do go outside of the United States, but I try to dissuade students from doing that. Frankly, we had one student during the intersession and went back home, PRC, and then got COVID and was late coming back for classes. So it makes me a little nervous. We don't tell you you can't do anything. You're free to go wherever you'd like to go, but we do try to limit that as much as possible so that there's no health concerns that occur. The next question is on the TEFL track. Does it have a TEFL certificate for the program? We provide a certificate of completion. You'll receive a certificate of completion once you finish off with the program.
All right, it looks like there are no more questions, which I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is the contact us slide. Here on the slide, if you have any questions in regards to your application, please reach out to my colleague Tanya McMillan. Her email address is on the slide. Any program-related questions, please reach out to my colleagues Ms. Carol Herman and Ms. Betsy Mayotte, and their email address is also on this slide. And then, of course, this is the ITGL cohort site that Ms. Mayotte mentioned during the Q&A. Thank you again for your interest in the Johns Hopkins School of Education. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Dr. Weisenhoff and Ms. Mayotte, for the wonderful presentation today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for being here.
Hope to see you all in the fall.